Welcome back to IBC 2017. Now, I've made my way up to an semblance of new companies who are doing weather software, editors, and all sorts of different things. The Launchpad is an opportunity for newer companies who maybe don't have the glitz and glamour of them. This year, I've come across to, well, do my usual recce, but I found a company which I heard of in 2014, and you probably did as well. There was a reasonable amount of press at the time when a Kickstarter project appeared for a camera called the FPS 1000. I was quite surprised and overjoyed to see this, the FPS 1000. As promised a few years ago, it has apparently been shipping for over a year, and it's been in hundreds of people's hands by now.
Yeah, so 2014 we started off with a prototype really of the FPS 1000, very much in its raw form, and over the subsequent year really we developed it into this FPS 1000 product, which you see today, which is now really selling pretty well. We've sold several hundred units into universities, scientific use, industrial use. 1,000 frames a second and upwards, goes up to 20,000 frames a second, but limited to 720p resolution. So today, in its next evolution, we've got the FPS 4000, which is designed for the broadcast market. So that's with 1080 and 4K resolution.
And, you know, there are new cameras appearing on the market every 5 minutes. When your Kickstarter appeared, I guess there was maybe some head scratches, say, is this going to exist? Will it ever make it to market? It has, and it seems that the rate that you guys are going, that this could be a really disruptive camera to the market and really be upsetting some of the bigger boys along the way. But what made you want to, well, why go from whatever you were doing to start to build your own camera?
I think it started for me as a technology challenge. So I've always been into graphics and visual products, didn't know much about photography, but when I saw high resolution, slow motion videos, it really appealed to me, and the products were very expensive, so looked into it and realized why they're expensive. And really what I do is take new technology and apply that to solving problems. So the thing that really made this camera different was the use of flash memory. So we have a very large memory, real-time recording. So it's unique amongst high-speed cameras. It has 2 minutes of recall time. And that really developed from there, how we could apply that to bringing the price down of these expensive products.
And we've seen in the past companies like Casio produce a camera that can do 12,000 frames a second, albeit barely watchable. But you seem to have done a bit of homework and looked at some of the standards that filmmakers and videographers require. So can you just tell us a bit about how it records and what you've got inside the camera?
Yeah, so everything's self-contained. We wanted a small unit that's mobile. So basically it has a large amount of internal memory. The 4000 has 640 gigabytes of real high-speed memory that we can record at 1,000 frames a second. And really, with feedback from the industry, we've learned about what people want and how they want to use this.
And as a process, that doesn't seem to have stopped. The 1000 is the current model, but you've been working very hard on a 2000 and a 4000. So just tell us a little bit about those.
So they're really using the same architecture, but using new sensors that are coming onto the market. So technology really has driven across the board these markets. So now available to us on the general market, we've got 1080 and 4K sensors which we can use, which are very sensitive, and we now can fit this into our architecture. So we're kind of moving along as the industry evolves very quickly.
And high-speed filming, many cameras can shoot relatively high speed, 100, 200 frames a second now, but 1,000 frames a second has been in the hands of the rich really up to now, using things like phantoms to get a solid image. I guess your product will live and die by its price point in some way. So where are you with pricing?
Well, we always want to offer products as low as sensible, really. So the 4000, which does 500 frames a second at 4K resolution, is going to be under £5,000, €5,000. And we'll offer lower cost versions of that with less memory. So for 1,000 frames at HD, we'll offer at £3,500.
So we're talking there a price point which is way, way below anything else. In fact, you can almost buy the camera for the cost of a couple of days rental of a Phantom or equivalent camera as well. So where can we find a bit more information, and more importantly, where can we buy these things from?
Okay, so we're launching it today. It's a new product. We will be providing footage on our website, and we'll be distributing footage very soon to show people what it can do. Availability of the product will be before the end of the year.
Brilliant. Well, we wish you all the very best with it, and we will keep watching closely. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
So there you go, that was Graham Rowan from the Slow Motion Camera Company telling us about the FPS series of cameras. Now, I'm really excited about what a camera like this can do. I mean, if you imagine back to when the GoPro was announced, that really changed many things, not because of its image quality or anything else, but it was a camera at a price point which meant you could put it in some really interesting positions. You could attach it to the bottom of a car without fear of losing thousands of pounds worth of camera. And a camera like this, all of a sudden, imagine what you could do with that. A camera that costs relatively little, certainly a lot less than a Phantom, but you could attach this to the underside of a car or put it into a crash, or in places that just hasn't been possible to do before. And realistically, if you think about it, the actual cost of this camera is probably equivalent to a couple of days hire of a Phantom. So I'm really excited, and over the next few weeks we're going to get hands-on as Graham comes up to see us with some of the newer cameras. So if you have any further questions or you want to see some test footage, do check back and we'll do that. In the interim, if you've liked any of this, please do subscribe, share, and we're going to head back to the show floor.